Hello everyone, we're here at the National Sailing Academy in Antigua, where the Globe 5.80 Transat skippers have arrived about a week ago for their crossing. So it was the second transatlantic for the class Globe 5.80, the first of the qualifying transats for the round the world one, for the mini globe race in 2025, which will start here as well. And today I'm going to take you down to the pontoons because Michael Moyer from Sunbear, he reached out to me and said like, hey, can we do a little video and talk about my tips and tricks, learnings from sailing across the Atlantic on my beautiful 580? And I said absolutely, of course. And I think it will be very, very interesting for anyone who is building a 580 right now, who's thinking about building a 580, and who's up for doing the Transat next year or even the mini globe race. So this video is for you, so you can take tips and tricks from someone who just spent 35 days on his beautiful 580 sailing across the Atlantic, and what he learned from this journey.
Hi, quick opinion piece on some things that worked for me or things that I might change if I did it again. The A3 all the way forward was a great sail, was a workhorse. The A5, the next one back, also great sail, used it a whole bunch. The fact that it's an odd number, it's an A3 and an A5, even though they look like spinnakers, they're not spinnakers. They are technically jibs. So, you know, going downwind, there were some jibe angles. Coming back to the jib, there were a couple of times, and for the MGR, you are allowed to have 7 class sails. I think having a second jib that you could wing out on the poles would make, I would have used that had I had it. I did not have a second jib, and that would have been an excellent piece of ammunition to have in the back. Speaking of that, for the MGR, you have to have 2 booming out poles. The pole from Selden is the J measurement. It comes from the mast out to essentially the forestay. If you had a little bit longer pole that would boom out the A5, I think that would also be an excellent addition. You could get the jib, the A5 out there. Now the A5 is not going to work for you in the really big winds because it just overpowers the boat. But I think that would be really great. I didn't really have any problems or questions for the rest of the boat. We'll move towards the stern here. Things with the stern. The South Atlantic was a fine little vane. It worked its little bones off. Now at 3,800 miles, it is time for a full rebuild. The bearings have gone sloppy. You know, it's light, it was inexpensive, it worked fine. That being said, this dragged in the water a lot. Even though it's kind of high in the stern, both the horseshoe and the life sling, there were times where, you know, it was in the water and trying to remove itself. So if you can come up with a little better way of you know, raise them up, move them around the corner. Everything else in the cockpit worked pretty well. We'll take a break here and jump down below. Okay, so things that I would change for the next race here in Sunbear. I decided I needed some more handholds, like on the edge of the roof and stuff, like for getting over the lee cloths to get out of the bunk and to sit up. It would have been great to have a couple of more handholds inside of the boat, because there were some days that, I don't know if you saw, there was very little wind, but it was just sloppy, terrible out there, and I would have just liked more places to hang on. Also, you know, I made this kind of cool galley, and I ended up cooking and eating off the floor a bunch because everything was always trying to head down, you know, go towards the floor. So if there were some more like cubby holes and drink holders and stuff, you know, just something, because I'd put the meals in the pot, you know, wedged in the sink, but if this was in here, there was room for nothing else. So if you had a little more control of holding things. The other thing that I thought, I barely burned my hands a couple of times trying to pour hot water into a measuring cup kind of deal. I mean, you're tilted and leaning. It was a little interesting, but yeah, if there were just a little more fiddles or catch-alls in the galley. Other than that, everything worked pretty well.